All right. We are recording, and we will be going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It is currently 8 a.m. like normal. It is, excuse me, I'm trying to pull up the weather here. It's 69 degrees outside with a high of 88 today, so it's going to be a good day. So enjoy this cooler weather as it kind of rolls in. We won't have to be worrying about just being drenched in sweat all day anymore. So that being said, traffic conditions are fair. Nobody really goes in or drives to Tulsa on Friday, at least not that many. So no real traffic jams or congestions going into Tulsa. Now, if you weren't paying attention yesterday, we actually talked about it briefly, but we're talking about the Apalachee school shooting, or the school shooter that occurred. Yes, school shooting that occurred the other day. So, like I said, take everything you hear with a grain of salt because there's a lot of information being put out. And again, yesterday there was a lot of wrong information put out. So, but it looks like we have a little bit better sources today. I think you were reading off the New York Post and you had some pretty good.
I read off a bunch of different posts, but yeah, I've got all the up-to-date information, at least as of right now.
Good deal. So we'll just jump right into it. So the school shooter, it is confirmed that, again, 4 people were killed. 2 were students and 2 were teachers. The 9 people who were injured look like they're going to make full recoveries, so that's good news. So with that being said, we'll try to dig into this kid. So actually, you want to read this little meme you got, Chad, that you have pulled up here?
Well, it is just a meme that is very accurate.
Transition real quick.
Ask. Oh, transition. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Thank
there
you.
we go. Why do liberals always demand gun control after every shooting, but never border control after every rape or murder by an illegal immigrant?
That's a pretty good question. But again, if the left didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards. Again, accuse your enemies of what you yourself do. So it's just a sad state of affairs, like they don't care. They go, well, even if we didn't have as many guns in the U.S., the illegals wouldn't be able to use them in those situations. It's like a lot of those illegals were just using knives and things like that. So it's not like weapons are the problem. And again, if you take weapons away from the citizens, like let's take those Venezuelan gangs that were operating in Colorado with their rifles. Like, you take away your weapons and the police don't go and police that neighborhood, you're on your own. You're at their mercy. They can do whatever you want. Again,
and there were like 7 of them there. So good luck with a baseball bat or a knife or whatever you've got against 7 armed people.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a weapon, they're going to be slightly less enthusiastic about coming after you. So, and again, we've talked about this before too. We're not far away from, like, I mean, remember in Canada they're saying leave your keys near your front door, so when the criminals come in, they can just grab your key and steal your car. We're not far away from, hey, this guy's here to assault your wife in a sexual variety. They'll be the police, and what the Democrats will say is, well, hold your wife down, don't, help the criminal out. That way he can get it over with quick. It'll save you and him some time. That's what we're going for. That's eventually what they'll say. It's like, well, he's not there to hurt your wife. He's just there to enjoy himself. Like, you have a wife. He doesn't. It's not fair. So you should help him enjoy your wife. Hold her down for him. That's where we're at. That is left-wing philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywho, again, there's just it makes no sense, the things that they ask for. It's like, oh, well, if people can come here legally, I mean, what's to stop these people who are coming here illegally, already breaking the law, from illegally bringing more guns in the country? Illegally gun running. Like, what are we talking about here? I mean, illegal immigrants already committed a crime. They're not allowed to have guns anyway. They're already felons based on American case law. So it's just absolutely nuts. So I don't know. This is just pathetic. But yeah, no, I'll get back on. So the kid who's actually the shooter here, there is still some misinformation going out, and like I said, there is some arguments being made that he's trans. I mean, look at his hair, look at the way he's kind of dressed, and He might be trans, so this might be, again, we don't have there's not a shooting epidemic, there's an epidemic of trans shooters. The last several shooters have been carried out by trans people.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when, again, like it's like the video we did the other day, the sad end result of the trans ideology.
Yeah.
You can't get what you want. But again, we don't know for sure. Like I said, there's still a lot of misinformation being put out about this shooter. He might still identify as a straight white male for all I know.
Yeah.
But I've seen some stuff to suggest that he is trans.
Here is if you want me to play it, I've got the misinformation right here.
So we don't know if this video we're about to show you is real or not, but this is something that's been circulating around quite a bit. And again, the media is awful quiet about this. They have not. And again, the media is very pro gay, trans, LGBTQ. They're very pro that ideology. So if he is trans, they're not going to promote it very much.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an argument to be made that the media silence is actually confirmation of what he is.
Yes.
But we're not going to tell you that that's confirmed. But I saw this video, so go ahead and play it, and we'll catch you on the tail end.
Pulling it up.
We don't have a gun problem in this country. We have the left is radicalizing children with their LGBTQ agenda problem in this country. How many trans shooters is this in a row? Is it like 6? Called it yesterday. We don't have a gun problem in this country. We have
So again, I don't know if that is accurate, that information being put out by this fella, but I mean, he's got a profile put up, and again, some right-wing person could have very well made this account on his behest because they had the information floating around out there. Allegedly, his Discord was hacked or something. Yeah. So his Discord was hacked like 3 months ago, and he hasn't been using it. So other people have had access to this. So I mean, for all we know, it's an FBI agent putting this crap out.
So here's what we know so far from what I have read. He only has, according to his police interview, he only has TikTok and Discord, but his Discord he hasn't touched in like 2 to 3 months because it got hacked. And there is evidence that it has been hacked because it was accessed from an account from a IP address in New York. Now, there are VPNs, virtual protection, networks that can change your location, but I don't think that was the case in this because usually that changes countries, not states.
Yeah.
But that's that. But he did get hacked there, and the school in the thing where he said that everyone's talking about how he was talking about he was the Uvalde, or he talked about the Uvalde shooting. That was actually in Russian, and his dad in his interrogation says, "I don't speak Russian, and I know for a fact my son doesn't speak Russian."
There you go.
So that's the evidence that we have for that so far. And the PolitiFact has fact-checked this and said that the account that was on this is not real because it was made 2 days ago.
This one?
Yeah, that's what it said. It said anything other than his TikTok and Discord are supposedly fake because he doesn't have any. But that's the thing. How often has PolitiFact said something and then
wrong.
Especially regarding the Trump stuff, and like 3 years later, actually everything that we said was actually a lie.
Well, again, and then it's the PolitiFact, like, what's the word? Technicality point. So it's like you could say Donald Trump did a backflip, June 17th at 9 p.m. and they'd be like, fact check, lie. Donald Trump didn't do a backflip. He did a front flip June 17th at 8 p.m., not 9 p.m. So that's where they'll get you. It's like Donald Trump actually did the thing he said he did, but he actually misspoke and said it this. So that's PolitiFact for you. They will take technicalities and be like, it's not, like, the essence of what he said is true, but he actually misspoke on what it was. So he actually mistaked a front flip for a back flip or something along those lines. That's an example, not like an actual fact check, but that is what we're talking about. It's like Donald Trump did say, like, they'd say, did Donald Trump say there were good people on both sides? And they'll say, fact check. True, he's a racist, but then they'll be like, but to add context to it, he did say there were good people on both sides. Mm-hmm. And he said, but he did say excluding the racists and the bigots who were actually out there causing harm and violence. So he made an exclusion, but they only hone in on that there were good people on both sides.
Yes.
So they don't give you the full context.
Yeah. Now, getting back to the shooting at the Apalachee
High School.
What we have here is he shot 4 people, and I do have their names here somewhere. I said I'll pull them up here momentarily. But his name is Colt Gray. That's the shooter. He's 14. 2 of his student victims were two boys that were also 14 years old in his algebra class. And two other people who were killed were two teachers at the school, one a male and one female teacher. And that's really, it seems that he comes from an extremely abusive household, is what it sounds like.
And does it seem like that he was targeting these people?
No, it seems like this was literally like a spur of the moment thing. Like something happened and he just went to go get, I guess it was kept in his locker or something, because they said that he abruptly left the classroom after an incident and then came back in, or tried to come back in the classroom with the rifle, and but the one of some teacher, I'm not sure,
Prevented it from doing
stopped
so.
him. Yeah, prevented him from doing so. Correct.
So this kid was bullied quite a bit, from what we understand. The dad actually made multiple trips up to the school because he was bullied so frequently. He actually just moved to this school, and he did have he did look up some information about school shootings. So he was on the FBI's watch list. He was on the FBI's radar, but again, the FBI didn't do anything. So again, this is a failure of the FBI, not anything else. I mean, this is just defund the FBI.
Yeah. But getting back to it, so he was on the FBI's watch list from a year ago about that Discord issue, and that's the same issue that they're saying goes, that account was hacked. It wasn't me that posted that stuff, and he even said in his police interview that I wouldn't joke about something like that.
Yeah.
So that's that. But he comes from an extremely abusive household. His mother and father just recently separated. They had been divorced. She has an arrest record and a rap sheet
Very long.
17 years. Yeah, she is crazy. She is addicted to meth, alcohol, drugs, and has been arrested on multiple occasions. And according to their neighbor, she would frequently lock the children out of the house
in sub-zero temperatures,
in cold weather, and
inclement
the kids would
weather,
come over and ask for food, shelter, and stuff like that. And she called the
Child
protective services on them several times, and nothing came of it. But if what we were about to talk about was, but if you misgender your child, though, child protective services will be there in a heartbeat
to remove your child from your home for abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But actual abuse, where they get locked out of a house or they're not getting food, that's no big deal. But again, misgender, like I said, the greatest sin you can commit in our society is hurting the alleged or the perceived marginalized and oppressed. Again, the marginalized and oppressed being the alphabet mafia, especially the trans community at this particular moment in time. Yeah. But yeah, it's very sad. It's very, very sad. And this kid, it's a tragic case of just parents not being able to be there and be what they needed to be to their kids.
Yeah.
And again, you move, and the dad did the right thing. He moved the kid away, he put him in a different school. But again, if you don't know how to navigate social circles, and if you're perceived as the weird kid, you're still going to be perceived as the weird kid at the new school. At least nobody knows you there, but I mean, it's how you look, it's how you walk, it's how you dress, it's how you behave that people will hone in on. Like, man, that kid's weird. That kid looks weird. He acts weird. He does weird things. He says weird things. He's into weird hobbies. So, and I'm not saying that this kid could have been perfectly normal. What I'm saying is, just a change of environment sometimes isn't enough. We have to help these kids navigate life in social settings.
Yeah.
But again, how can he when his dad's probably never around? Dad's probably working full time, and now they're talking about bringing the dad up on charges and sending the dad sentencing the dad to 17 years in prison for letting his son have access to a rifle. It's like the dad he was trying to keep his son away from video games. He was trying to take him out and teach him how to hunt and do manly stuff so he could probably fit in better. Dad was doing the best he could with what he had available to him. But again, if he's working full time, the mom's in jail or under house arrest or whatever the mom is currently. Mm-hmm. He can't be around to take care of that kid, and the kid's going to be able to get access to those weapons when dad's not around.
Yep.
So, I mean, the fact that they're going to try dad on this is pretty sad, because the dad's doing the best he could being a single dad with a mom who's in jail. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this is what's going to happen. It's always going to affect the poorest of our society, never the somebody who can afford lawyers and things like that. They're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. But again, this poor dad who's just doing the best he can, wife in jail, single dad trying to take care of his son, can't be around to be there and hold his hand through life. But yeah, it's just a sad state of affairs, man. Like, this poor guy's going to probably go to jail, but who knows? I mean, they'll throw the book at this guy who can't afford a lawyer. It's just going to have a public servant who's, barely passed the bar. Sad state of affairs, man. But yeah, I mean, what do you do in situations like this? I mean, you can't prevent this. You can't prevent bullying. You can't prevent you can't force kids to like each other. You can't force people to like each other. You can encourage certain behaviors, but at the end of the day, I mean, social groups and hierarchies are going to form naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, I mean, I don't know. There's no easy answer to this. And the left thinks there is. It's just like, well, ban guns and all these problems will go away. It's like, no, it won't. No, it won't. You just hurt the rest of the people who want to have firearms and want to protect themselves and defend themselves from their families from greater threats.
Yeah.
And again, I put this on teachers. Teachers, you should all volunteer to have your concealed and carry license and carry them in school. Carry a weapon in school. If every teacher had a weapon, there would be significantly less shootings at school.
Not even all of them. If only there was the thought that any one of them could be armed, less people would like this incidents like this would happen.
Yeah. Yep. So that is my opinion. That if you want a safer school, arm your teachers. Or, I mean, I guess the only other thing you could do is have more, what do you call them, resource officers. Post them on it. Have a resource officer posted at every door in the school. But I mean, that's more tax dollars going to that. But I imagine that's something that most people would probably be okay with. But I don't know. But again, I mean, it would be significantly easier if teachers would just step up, take the responsibility, and be like, yeah, no, I mean, we should live in a society where people feel a civic duty to carry a weapon with them. Like, yeah, I mean, we should all protect ourselves. We're all responsible for. You are responsible for your own safety. Nobody else is responsible for your safety. Period. Again, the only thing that this is like Democrats and these policies, they go, you're doling off your own responsibility on other people. It's like, well, if you're a welfare person, it's like, well, it's not my responsibility to be a responsible citizen. That's all the police force is. It's like, it's not my responsibility to protect myself. That's the police officer's job to protect me. It's like it's just people obfuscating responsibility from themselves. That's what democratic policies are. It's like, oh, the climate, well, you're just a dumb citizen. We can only legislate the climate away. We can't actually. You can't fix it on your own.
Can't contribute.
So, and again, the people who are causing the most damage to the climate are the people that are rallying for these causes, the ones that are traveling in jets everywhere talking about the major climate change issues. Greta Thunberg has done more to increase global emissions than anybody else has. But again, it's all about the hypocrisy of it all. Like, we're raising awareness, and that's all that really matters. But yeah, so it's just a sad state of affairs, and I don't know how this goes away. But again, with freedom comes risk. Like, you have the freedom to drive a car, and every time you get in that car, you have the potential for getting into a wreck. You have the potential of dying every time you get into a motor vehicle. Every day. Same goes for getting on a plane, having the freedom to travel anywhere.
Yeah, it's the same with the food that you put in your body.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you consume and eat fast food 24 hours a day, like, you're literally shortening your lifespan. But you don't care about that. It's like a weapon, a firearm is just a tool for self-defense. It can be used it's a dangerous tool, but it's only a danger if people are using it inappropriately.
Matches in the hands of the wrong person are an arson tool.
Yeah. But here we are, sitting here complaining about, again, back to square one, back to firearms. We have to ban all guns. No. That is not the solution to this. The solution is to just, my solution is turn to God. We need to put Christianity, and we're a nation founded on Christian values, Judeo-Christian values. Those are the foundational pillars of our society. We need to turn back to that.
Yeah.
Encourage good behavior. Encourage going back to church.
If he had been raised in a good Christian household, he wouldn't be having this issue. The fact is that the
He would
kid
have had a
grew up in an
community.
abusive
Yeah.
household, and he was moved around a lot because of issues in school and probably issues with like the
At home.
parents' rap record, trying to avoid places that knew his wife or whatever else. So they don't have any support system around them.
So again, we have to delve deeper than just, well, if we get rid of guns. I mean, again, you're always the left always tries to argue the simplest solution is the answer. It's like, if we just take away guns, this will never be an issue again. It's like, yeah, but again, it just shows to show you they don't actually care about the actual deep root of the problem. Like, the problem is this kid feels isolated and alone and feels weak in a world of people where he's isolated and getting bullied. It's like, what's the solution here? The solution is we have to make this kid take on responsibility, clean his room, find community. And I said not find community in weird Reddit subforums where they get indoctrinated by trans LGBTQ stuff, like
contact.
a church community. You know, the weirdest kids can get involved in church communities and, like I said, find Christ, and man, guess what? They can be forever changed by that. So, I know that sounds almost too simple, but I mean, it's not. I mean, the solution is to get these kids involved in the local community, get them involved in the local church, and find faith, but not only find faith, but find community and family outside of these toxic environments that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the solution.
100%.
Because if you go to school every day and you're picked and bullied at school, but you go to church on Sunday and you have a group of people there you can hang out with, like friends or a youth group, guess what? Life's not so bad when you're there.
Yeah.
It might be bad outside of there, but guess what? Life's pretty good over there, and that gives you that little shimmer of hope that you can continue on. Because you have these people around you supporting you, telling you things are going to be okay.
Yep. And then getting back to the topic of banning guns, but everything else that we've ever banned, alcohol, drugs, has always failed. And they're even trying to legalize a lot of stuff. I mean, think about all the stuff we're legalizing weed now. Alcohol ban didn't work. Why is banning guns going to work? It just means that only criminals will be able to get a hold of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, again, these things are crutches. You know, when people drink and get drunk and you have to drink to have fun. I mean, I'm around people, I'm in the Army, I'm around people who think they have to drink to have fun all the time. Like, if they're not drunk, they can't even talk to people. I'm like, why you gotta do that, man? Like, I mean, you should learn how to enjoy life without using alcohol as your
vice
crutch to get you there to have fun. I mean, it's the same with anything. It's like, if you have to do drugs in order to escape whatever situation you're in, it's just a temporary solution to a permanent problem. And that's why people turn to things like shootings and suicides and things like that. It's the one thing they seem to think that they can have control over. It's like, I can cause pain. I'm in pain. I'm suffering, so I'm going to make people around me suffer and be in pain. Or they do the other thing. They do the, oh, woe is me, poor pitiful me. I'm going to take control, and the only thing I control is how I go out. And it seems like the best solution. It's like, I don't know, the best solution might just be to accept suffering, accept that responsibility, accept the responsibility for yourself and your life, and overcome that problem. But again, what is the left all about? Simple solutions. Let's do assisted suicide. Let's just ban guns. That'll solve everything. It's like, no, it's not going to solve anything. The purpose of life is to overcome. Adapt, survive, overcome, Bear Grylls style.
Yeah.
You can do anything, man. I mean, a man can have anything if he's willing to sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice your time. You're going to have to sacrifice your time for sure. You might have to sacrifice your comfort. Like I said, if you want to get six-pack abs, guess what? It's not going to happen overnight. And you're going to have to give up sugar permanently. And you're going to have to go to the gym at least for an hour a day every day of the week. And hit it hard. Whatever your problem is, you can overcome it. They said you can build a Fortune 500 company. I mean, Jeff Bezos built his dang empire from a garage.
Yep. So did Walt Disney.
Yeah.
garage, and all these people telling them they were naysayers, saying you can't do that. This is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, don't let the naysayers get you down. I mean, don't have a fool's hope either, but come up with realistic solutions and problems. And like I said, even if you can't build your own empire, become the most useful and valuable person you can be, and people will pay you. Or if they won't even pay you, they'll need you in their lives. They'll want to have your opinions on stuff. And that alone will help you get you through a lot of problems. They'll be like, wow, people value me for my opinion. They value me for my usefulness, your utility as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but like I said, the problem is never lash out. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of these kids, though. Like this particular kid, I mean, he felt weak and powerless, so the only thing he wanted to do was go and lash out.
Yeah.
And we all understand, like we all feel like our rage and our wrath is justified when we're doing it, but it's not. And I said again, if we turn back to Christ, we turn back to faith, and we go back more to, and I said, get more people involved in the church. Good churches, not these new age, hippy dippy,
Love is love.
love is love, God loves the gays kind of church and women pastors are a thing. No, that's not. No, got to get back to a more orthodox church in a community. You have to understand that the more orthodox you go, the better off you're going to be. So, with that being said, that's about all we got for you today. We gotta, like I said, my brothers in Christ, let's return to the Lord. But yeah, I think that's the best solution for all the world's woes is returning to faith, returning to God. So let's get back to that, and that would be my solution to these problems. Like I said, dig deeper and don't just do the simplest, easiest answer. So with that being said, this is the Twins with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.